Boom! We're back! Boom!
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 Boom! Episode
Boom!
Boom! Episode 184. We're back again. Joe, I've had a hectic day, as you know. Can't you Cannon crew? You know, y'all know, y'all don't. I'm a little rushed, feeling a little hectic, feeling a little. I got into an accident. I'm okay. Everybody else is okay. It was just a pain in the ass, and I'm just saying this now because I want some sympathy.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure that it was, as I said before, the peeing the pants type.
No, it was an accident with a vehicle. I also got some adult beverages. I never do this, but the lady, my wife, my fiance, soon to be wife, Alicia, lower carb diet. So I did this. I did the White Claw. I ran into the local package store. I was like, just let's go. So we're gonna do it.
Let's specify that the beverages had nothing to do with the accident.
Exactly. I'm just starting right now, and these are adult beverages. It's a White Claw, and this is technically an unboxing, right, Joe?
An uncanning.
An uncanning of black cherry. I'm going to do a quick review.
Oh, God.
Tasty. Just want to let you all know, and Alicia, okay. It's only 100 calories. It's 2 grams of carbs, 2 grams of sugar. That's what we're looking for right there. So make fun of me. That's fine. Yeah, I know I would like to drink beer, Joshua. I really would. But right now, just please leave me be. So this is episode 184. And the featured issue, again, we'll give credit to Adam Adrian, who came up with this idea. We should feature an issue that corresponds to our episode number. And this is a good one. We want to kind of, go in all directions and publications and things like that, DC, Marvel, Indie, etc. But we just did Marvel, and it's okay, Joe, because this is a good one. It's X-Men 184, the first appearance of Forge. Joseph, how do you feel about this?
This is a book that I was pretty high on for the past couple of years. Forge is definitely an unsung hero of the X-Men, but he did get some screen time recently on X-Men 97, and I'm very happy he did. Mm-hmm. I really thought that we were going to see him. That was like kind of a little speculation of mine, and I was picking this book from, the occasional dollar bin find, as well as just buying it for a couple bucks here and there when I found it in high grade. Got a 9.8 in my personal collection. Forge, really, really cool, like kind of master tinkerer kind of character. Definitely just a really solid supporting X-Men character that's been around since, this is issue 184. So that was like kind of earlier 1980s. Kind of end of the Bronze Age. End of the Bronze, maybe early Copper, but I'm pretty sure this was end of the Bronze Age. But either way, this character got some screen time in X-Men 97, just like he did on the X-Men animated series back in the 90s. And what better way to honor this cool character than relaying it to our episode number.
Yep.
Episode 184 today.
Lots of fun. If you guys have recommendations on books you want to see for corresponding episodes coming up, please feel free to suggest. I just want to make it a point that Dr. Plagueis did call this right before we brought up that slate. So that is a great issue to bring up. Okay, so here we are. Week number 2 with our brandly installed news correspondent, our Adam Schefter of Comic Book Canon. Everybody, please welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Joshua. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, gentlemen and gents and ladies. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing great. We brought you full screen here because we cannot deny the tie. Am I right, Joe?
I'm loving it. Listen, we try to be pretty professional here. Currently, we have 12 million viewers right now. It often gets up into the 20 and even 30 million. And, we try to be pretty professional here, but Josh is really taking that to a new level with this formal attire here. Not only wearing the tie itself, but also wearing a comic book canon T-shirt.
Oh, get out of here! Hat too?
Goodness.
Get out of here!
I'm not.
I do have a question. Are there two ties going on here? I don't.
No, I have one tie. I've never tied a tie before in my life,
Oh, wow.
so I just tried tying it like my shoelace, and this is the result.
You know what?
You had a tie. Yeah. I learned from a YouTube video when I was, I think, a junior in high school, and I never forgot since then.
Look,
Alicia loves it, by the
all
way.
that matters is the thought, right?
Yeah. By the
And
way, I'm not sure.
I want to say real quick,
Yeah,
can
go
you
for
guys hit that like button and please subscribe to Comic Book Canon if you haven't already?
Thank you for that. Again, smash the like button. We want to, and subscribe. Come on, just do it. Why not? I mean, how many times do you get to see a tie on Comic Book Canon? It's going to be regularly, apparently. Anyways, Alicia, my fiance, is watching. Just letting you know, it's the White Claw, 100 calories, 2 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of sugar. So just letting you know. Yeah, cute. Honestly, Alicia and I have decided, for my best interest, we're going to go a lower carb situation here. So yeah, I do love me some beer, but yeah. All right, let's just get into it. It's not about me. It's about Josh and the news. Josh, let's start it off, man.
So we got some official news this week before we get into the rumors. So Jeff, why don't you take us off?
No, you kick it off because you're the
All
news
right.
guy.
Well, today's news bit, we're going to talk about Michael Leslie, who's in negotiations to write the live action X-Men movie. Now, you may have heard of his name before, but I doubt it. He doesn't have too much writing underneath his belt, but he has written Assassin's Creed 2016, The Little Drummer Girl from 2018, which looks like it was a show, and he recently just wrote The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know how to feel about this news.
Here's the deal. I'm going to say it's progress because we're one step closer to an X-Men movie. Who knows anything about this guy? I don't. I looked at his IMDb. He's done some stuff, which is great. But at the same time, I hope they've gotten away from writers who don't have an affinity for comic books in a way. And, I'm not dogging Marvel, although it's dipped a little bit in terms of what we expect from them. And you can't get you can't get grand slams every time you're at the plate. Am I right? So I just, for me personally, I see this as a step forward. I'm happy we're hearing some news. And this is official news. This is what, Deadline, I think it was, or Hollywood Reporter. But
Deadline is where I get most of my news from, and I'm pretty sure they're a trusted source. So,
by the way, Deadline gets most of their news from you too. Let's just it's a symbiotic relationship. Joe, what are your thoughts on this?
So, what do you two? I mean, Joe, what do you think about this news?
Listen, I'm with Jeff on this one a little bit as far as like, hey, we're getting the X-Men in the MCU. I guess God, I really hope they don't drop the ball on the X-Men in the MCU. That's for sure. We had at least a handful of solid X-Men movies that came out during the Fox time. Even excluding the 2 Deadpool movies, which were great. The first X-Men movie, phenomenal. The second, third one, less phenomenal, but still good. And then we had Logan. We had
Days of Future Past.
Of Future Past. And I even like First Class quite a bit.
First Class is great. Yeah.
But what about the GOAT? Dark Phantom.
Yeah, not about that one.
No.
But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just one person isn't going to make or break a film. That is just very clear by some of the movies that we've seen that have phenomenal actors or phenomenal writers or directors, and the rest is just not up to par. So I wouldn't worry too much. I think we got to get a chance and see what's going on. But first, I mean, we need to have the Fox send-off first. We have the Deadpool and Wolverine coming out this summer, which is going to be the send-off to the Fox franchise. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing, actually. And obviously, we've seen from set pictures and actually even I do believe in the trailer for a second. You see 20th Century Fox's logo. It looks like in that wasteland or wherever. So very exciting stuff. Josh, our next piece of news.
So we have another OG Avenger returning to the big screen, or well, small screen. So Paul Bentley will return for a Vision show. I believe they're going to announce it Vision Quest, but they're not entirely sure. But he will be returning on Disney Plus in 2026, and Terry Matalas will be the showrunner. I believe I'm pronouncing his name right.
Matalas, yes.
And yeah, I'm excited to see this. I love Wanda and Vision. I thought it was a great show, and knowing where Vision left off in that show, from my understanding is we're going to pick up and see what he's been doing, and the show is going to probably take place at least almost a year, if not longer, after the events of WandaVision.
That's exciting news as well. And I think this guy has a little bit more under his belt than Michael Leslie, who's apparently one of the X-Men writers or lead writer for the X-Men. This guy, Terry Matalas, has done Star Trek Picard, 12 Monkeys, MacGyver, Terra Nova, which I'm not familiar with. But so there's been, Star Trek Voyager. He goes back. So that's good to know. It's exciting. I think this is somebody who has an affinity for the geek culture, I would say, because the guy's been on a few Star Trek series, Enterprise, Voyager, and Picard. So that's good to know. Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this. We had that send off, the second send off of Vision when the White Vision blasted off at the end of WandaVision, and we really haven't heard, seen, even gotten a clue or a hint about anything since then, and that was a couple of years ago at this point. So I think a lot of people, this was kind of out of their mind. It had been rumored for a while. I think it had even been not formally announced, but mentioned. And it's been so long that I think that a lot of people kind of forgot that it was possibly something that was happening. So, I mean, I'm excited for this. Vision's such a great character, and obviously with his, his quote unquote death, and then his quote unquote resurrection during WandaVision, it opened the door back up. And yeah, I'm excited whether they call it Vision Quest or something else. Vision House of Harkness, Vision Chaos of Coven of Chaos, whatever they decide to go with the name. They'll probably change it 10 times. But yeah, very stoked about this.
I'm excited too. Again, I do think that the Vision's going to show up at some point before 2026. I would hope. Again, they kind of left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger. The guy's off in the world with back to zero in a way, and I think a lot of people are. I'm a fan of Vision. I love Vision. I love everything about that. That human aspect that he's always seeking, not knowing if he's enough. Those are the things, the qualities. But he's going back to zero again from a wonderful storyline because of the writer and the artist. We're talking West Coast Avengers here, number 45, but this is the Vision Quest storyline here where you do see that no color Vision. So very excited to see where Vision has left off. Now we're going to do something new. We got to design it, but our Adam Schefter of Comic Book Canon does have rumors as well. So we're going to have to get out rumors or something like that going, Joe, for your employee. He's under you in the org chart, by the way, because you are
technically
editor in chief. He is editor news. So Josh, do you have any comments before we get into the rumors?
I just want to say, and we're also going to remind everybody, probably with that rumors, that these are strictly rumors. We're not spoiling anything. You can take them with a grain of salt if you want, or you can eat the whole load of potatoes, whatever you want to do. But these are strictly rumors, and, if they end up being true, I'm not saying I'm a god or that I have a intuition or anything like that, or maybe I have a vision,
Well
so,
done.
with that being said, let's jump into the rumors, Chef.
Go for it. You're the one that accused me. I'm just following your lead. This is your segment.
Let's start off with some Hawkeye. So the rumor going around is that Hawkeye has been renewed for a second season, and his brother Barney will actually be appearing in the show along with Kate Bishop, of course. Now the rumor is that I believe at the big event, which is San Diego Comic-Con, is when they usually announce all of the big announcements. That's when it's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited for this rumor because I tell you what, we know Kate Bishop's coming back. I'm sure, she was teased at the end for Young Avengers. I'm sure she's going to be in future Avengers films. And you know what? I loved Hawkeye season 1, and I just recently rewatched it, and it's such a great show. And I also want to see, our old OG member of Hawkeye return. Have Jeremy come back and maybe even do a West Coast Avengers one day.
Oh, yes, please, absolutely. Again, West Coast Avengers near and dear to my heart. Joe, you got something to say?
Yeah. I've kind of been big on this idea for a while. Basically when they announced the Hawkeye show and that they were bringing in Kate Bishop, and my kind of idea was, in the comics, Hawkeye is kind of the leader of the West Coast Avengers team, but doesn't really seem like we're getting, West Coast Avengers per se. But what if the Young Avengers group that is clearly being put together? I think we can all agree that, they've got Kamala, they've got Kate Bishop, they've got,
Ironheart.
Tommy and Billy and Ironheart.
Hulkling.
Yeah. Well, they have all these characters that could possibly come together. What if he just leads that team instead as kind of a mentor position? And even so, like, they could base it on the West Coast and kind of make it a West Coast Young Avengers kind of thing. I think it would be cool to take those two teams from the comics that were from different eras and kind of merge them together for the MCU. With Hawkeye as the seasoned retired Avenger, who's guiding these new Avengers through the experience.
I mean, it's interesting though, because you got to think. Last time we left Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel was in New Jersey. Although in the end of the Marvels, I believe she moved out west or south to the farm with Carol Danvers, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I forget where that's located. I know it's down south somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
exactly.
I know Kate was in New York at the time, so I know it'd be interesting though. I think
it will be interesting. I do want to address something here. Tishu, everything always should get credit for it. However, here's the deal: when it comes to rumors, this is still a rumor. Everything always is not like an official, like, entertainment publication where they put their name on the line and will print that out. Not print, but yeah, well, sure, we'll give them credit. That's absolutely it. But it's not a for sure thing until you hear it from a Kevin Feige who will say something in Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, or those types of publications. So let's not get too crazy with this until it's out there. But yes, everything always, I guess, is where this originated from. And I would like to see, I think it's Iron Lad, not New Kang. It's Iron Lad. So that would be dope.
Yeah.
Well, he's a variant of Kang.
True.
Yeah, they're all variants.
Yeah, he's a young version of Kang who's idealistic and did not want to go down that road, trying to prevent. Anyways, that whole run, Young Avengers run is fantastic. All right, moving on to again rumors. Okay, just rumors, but this is a big one. We promised we would talk about this individual here in the post we made on Instagram where we tease our show every week. So Josh.
There's been a lot of talk about Taylor Swift and her being in Wolverine and Deadpool. And, not saying she won't be in there. She might even show up. But what if she appears as a different character, actually gets her own standalone show? So, rumor going around is that Taylor Swift recently met with Marvel, and she's looking to not only star in a series from Disney Plus, but she's going to be playing as the blonde Phantom. I'm not too sure about that. I mean, I don't even know who the character is. I'm assuming it's the lady on the cover with She-Hulk. I never even heard of the blonde Phantom. So I'm going to kick it off to Joe because he probably knows maybe a little bit more, and maybe he doesn't.
The blonde Phantom has been used as a character, I'm pretty sure, since the Golden Age in various, because it's so generic that I think they, like, a bunch of different publishers have used the name. Just like there's been multiple characters named Black Spider and multiple characters, with various other names and stuff like that. If they don't renew trademarks, then you can kind of just use them over again, like Captain Marvel. That being said, I could see Taylor appearing in a movie. I've said this for a while. It's totally possible that she plays Lady Deadpool. Totally possible that she plays Dazzler. I think that these things are all very possible. Do I think that they're going to give her own thing? No.
She doesn't have time for it.
She doesn't have time. That is first and foremost the most important thing. Why would she ever spend the time doing even just a small 6-episode story arc when she could literally probably play one concert and earn more money than she would get doing a Disney Plus show? And the shooting for a Disney Plus show would restrict her from doing her music and being able to play for at least weeks, if not months, especially with having to go back for reshoots and stuff. I don't see it happening. I do see, her playing some role at some point, even just in a cameo appearance or a small role, but a major starring role, no, I don't see that happening.
But what if she's a fan? What if she's dedicated to Marvel? She can make it happen if she wants to.
Is she?
I think
maybe.
Let's put it this way. I think Taylor Swift is dedicated to her craft as a songwriter. I think Taylor Swift feels like she has don't know her personally. Yes, I have worked with her before. I'm just throwing it out. I'll pick up that name.
You guys briefly dated, right?
No, that's definitely not true. But I think Taylor Swift is the type of performer that feels like they have a responsibility to their crew, that they go out and tour on a regular basis, that they make a living doing. I think she's hyper focused on that, and that's why she is where she is. It's fair she could delve into other things like somebody like Madonna did back in the day.
You know who I'd love to see the MCU though?
Hey, Brittany.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a nice shirt, actually.
Yeah, I know.
It's really tough to see somebody taking, again, it's months, Joe. It's not weeks, it's months to be the lead in a series. So
right, I agree.
At least months.
But appearing here and there as this character, sure, I could see something like that happening, but it would be really tough to pull off a full series with her as the lead, unless it's way down the line when she's kind of moved on to try and do other things with her career. All right, we have one more little news rumor. Again, we emphasize the word rumor.
This is a great rumor, and I'm all up for it if it happens. So everybody should know who Anthony Starr is. He is Homelander on The Boys, but he also appeared on a great TV show, which I'm forgetting the name of it, but he was a sheriff on the show. Do any of you guys know which one I'm talking about?
I will look
Banshee.
it up.
Banshee is what it's called.
Banshee,
I believe. Now listen, go check out Banshee if you haven't, because it's a phenomenal show. But I will say this, Anthony Starr is rumored to possibly Booster Gold in the DCU. So recently, both Anthony and James Gunn have started following each other on Instagram, and it has been confirmed that Booster Gold has been casted. But we have yet to be heard who is going to be playing him. And, I don't think Anthony Starr and James Gunn would just follow each other out of random if they're not going to probably be working on something together.
Okay. There's some clues there, I would say. There's a little breadcrumbs there. I can't say for a fact that confirms anything. I followed Joe before we became colleagues and co-producers, co-hosts of The Canon. But that, again, I just wanted to, butter him up and maybe get some vegan sandwiches. You know what I mean?
I unfollowed Jeff 6 months ago, and he still hasn't noticed yet. But I do agree that, it is coincidental then I think what people saw was they followed each other and they're like, oh, maybe they're working together. And then there was also the rumor about Booster Gold, and it's like, okay, I could see, Booster Gold is typically portrayed as having blonde hair, and in that recent role on what is it, The Boys, Anthony Starr has kind of that bleach blonde look. So is it totally possible? Yeah. Could also be coincidental? Yeah. Could it be for a different role? Yeah, that too. He could have approached him just in general, rather than having a specific role or that specific role. So time will tell. Let's see if any of these rumors come to fruition.
I do think, again, like, let's just look at it as just the fact, if he would play Booster Gold. I think, just like Scruffy says, I think he'd be great for it, to be honest with you. I think it's a little too, I don't know, he's maybe typecast in a genre of superhero roles, but I mean, that's really not that bad these days to be in. And a Booster Gold is a lead, right? And I think that's a fun character that I think he would knock that part out of the park.
But there's one thing that concerns me is knowing that The Boys was just renewed for season 5.
Yeah.
And I believe Booster Gold, they're looking to start filming by the end of the year, and it's going to come out early 2025. So that kind of gets me wondering how that's going to happen. Unless The Boys are going to shoot later next year, we'll have to see. But
here, let's put the timeline together, because you still have season 4 of The Boys coming out. That's not out yet, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. They may not go into production until months down the line for season 5, because it just got renewed. There's a whole bunch of pre-production planning that has to happen before then. Now, Booster Gold, there's no way that movie is coming out in early 2025. No way. If they start shooting,
it's going to be a show. It's not going to be a movie.
Where are we right now? We are 6 months until the end of the year, which is absolutely crazy. 6 or 7 months. That is a mad rush to put something together, even if it's February in 8 months. So I would think, at best case, it's later in 2025.
I mean, we know that 2025, or rather 2024, or the year that we're in now, is kind of the reset period for DC. Going from here, we know a couple things that are in play. Peacemaker season 2, Waller, Creature Commandos, and of course the big tentpole Superman Legacy event. Everything after that, we don't know anything. We don't know what there's gods and monsters. Joe. What's that?
Peacemaker season 2 is.
Yeah, I said that's the first thing I said.
Oh, did you? Okay, my bad.
Guys, let's not fight. We're on the same team here, everybody. We are on the same team. But it's fascinating. We're trying to piece the clues together to see what the DCU has for us, because we are all very excited. As is Tishu, like, where's Hawkman in the DCU? Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Bane. DC needs to wake up. Well, here's the deal. You got Green Lantern coming. Josh, give us some facts.
Oh, man. All right, so we just got official news about the writers for Green Lantern. I don't even remember their names, but it's going to be a true detective show, pretty much, which is going to have Hale Jordan and Jon Stewart, and they're going to be solving, I guess, a murder case in the Cosmos. Would you call it Cosmos in the DC, or was it a different?
Sure,
yeah. So we already know that show's happening, and I believe Tom King is one of the writers on that.
Yeah, he is. Actually, I do believe what they've actually just posted about was that they have the pilot episode is done, right?
Oh, okay.
That's a big
James Gunn himself, the godfather of the DCU, if you will, posted it up himself that it's coming, and he announced the writers. So that show's locked down, which I'm really excited for, by the way. So, yeah. As for Hawkman, I don't know about him. I know Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman will be in the Superman Legacy.
That's fact. As will the Authority. Let's go,
yeah,
Paul.
I was just gonna say, Paul just mentioned the Authority, but they're going to be in Superman Legacy. They're not getting their own production.
That is going to be. I mean, who knows? It could spin off, but again, as Joe said, we don't know much about what's going to happen after Superman Legacy at this point. So,
right.
All right. Josh, aka the Adam Schefter of Comic Book Canon, you've done a fantastic job. Like, I would give him, Joe, a solid 6.5 out of 10.
Damn, 6.5. That's it.
I don't like the color of his tie.
You're giving him a fine plus.
I don't like the color of his tie.
All right, listen, we're gonna have to set up an HR meeting.
You're right.
Jeff, which one of us is the HR department?
You're the head of HR, but obviously that's going to do you no good if you forgot that you're the head of HR. So,
I think
I'm the head of HR, so I'll set up an appointment for this week. Check your Outlook calendar. I'll put it there, and we'll hash this one out.
I'm offended now. My tie's offended. I sometimes identify as a tie, Jeff. So
I know you do. You called yourself.
And let me tell you something. I think me and my lawyer, I need to find somebody to represent me in this HR meeting. So, good thing we know we know a lawyer / judge, and
he can't. No, he's under the canon retainer. He can't. Listen, he cannot represent you.
He was, but you broke the contract because when you guys hired me, in my contract it says I get 3 Golden Age books from Joe a year. That's not in Dan's contract. So his contract's been voided. So he needs a whole new one, which I'm going to help him draft probably later. So this is going to go weeks on.
This is really contentious, and this is only the second time you've appeared as our news editor. So this is going really well. Thanks a lot, Josh. You may or may not be back in this episode and actually moving forward. So we'll talk. Josh, have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can't. I seriously can't. Listen, here's the deal. 19 million people watching, so that means 19 million witnesses of me berating Josh, but it happened. So I apologize to those that watch because that was really hard. Anyways, let's just say hello to some people. But before we do, let's remind you, we are 2 segments, Joe. That's right, 2 segments away from Ask Joe and Jeff too. That is coming up. So remember that we have a popcorn coming up. I don't know if y'all remember who's up on deck on the popcorn, but the Immortal Scruffy laid that out last week for us. We're going to say hi to some people. Put your questions for Ask Joe and Jeff in the chat. Here we go. Dr. Plagueis. That's right. Tiffany Thiessen knows a guy, Josh. Yeah, she's suing us. That's right, actually. Brandon Riley, how are you? T-Shoe, divorce lawyers are coming in. Listen, for those that have been married and have not been divorced, don't do it. It's miserable. I've not been married, but I'm dealing with lawyers. It's not fun. Dan De La Torre, is there money in the canon for Josh's wardrobe? Maybe that's a dig as well. Oh, that's terrible. We got, who else do we have? We've got Bond.
Paul Bond
in the house. Who else do we have? Comic Toby is here. D&T Comics and Collectibles wants to see Anthony Starr as Reverse Flash. That's a good call. As we said, Mortal Scruffy. He thinks Anthony Starr would be great as Booster Gold. Who else is here? Again, this is a weekend, which again, real quick, props to our servicemen and women out there. Props to those families that are sacrificing their loved ones to be overseas. And again, we appreciate all of you. That's what Memorial Day is about. Kaboom Comics, hi, Comic Book Canon. Hello, Jeff, Joe, and Josh, as well as the Honorable De La Torre. Nori Jordan, you're going to get to know that person as well, too, because he knows everything about the Thunderbolts. Who else do we have? Who else? We got the love of my life, Alicia Jardine in the house. Dr. Plagueis, I think we said what's up. You know, Josh here, right? Real man, drink beer. I know I'm drinking the White Claw. It's good for the carbs. Spider Dude Comics makes fresh from the comic shop so good. We love you. All right. So we're going to move on here. As we said, get your questions in for Ask Joe and Jeff. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done already. This is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful community. By the way, we got Brian Klotz as well and Tony Connor. Okay. We're gonna I'm seeing some funny stuff here. We're going to get into it, though. Again, this is a wonderful, wonderful community, and that's what the popcorn is all about. Getting to know you fine people in a more serious tone. We joke around a lot. We like to have a lot of fun here, but this is about getting to know all of you people. That's what this segment is about. So everybody, get to know Nori Jordan.
Hey everybody, this is Jordan Nori, also known as Nori Jordan to most of you. I was nominated to give you a little information about myself. I live in Barrie, Vermont, and I was born and raised here, which was not very exciting, so avoid it. My first comic book was Daredevil 181, which was a beautiful battle between Bullseye and Elektra, and the man who won, to this day, is still my favorite character. Something that most people don't know about me is back when I did league bowling, and even though I know Dan Delatorre, I bowled 300 games and I had an 875 series. What comic collecting means to me is getting to spend time with my son and meeting a lot of really wonderful people. I'd like to nominate Goonish Lurker. If anyone has any extra Thunderbolts number ones, send them my way. Bye.
See, that is a great segment. I love all you guys participating. And Goonish Lurker, you are up next. You are on. No, you're at bat. You are at bat. So again, if you guys are all interested, we post these every week on Instagram. If you're interested, just go in the comments and be like, I want to be on the popcorn. I want to be, on the popcorn, the comic book canon popcorn. So well done, Nori Jordan. Well done indeed, Joe. Here we are.
Yeah, and I just want to say before we move on, I did not know that about Jordan, that he bowled 300 games. That's pretty impressive. I was on the bowling team in high school. I have several games in the 200s, but I certainly have never been close to 300, so that's pretty cool.
That is very cool. I'm sure the Honorable De La Torre will have some comments on that. We're going to see the Honorable De La Torre actually right now, just as Dan. He likes to be called Dan during this segment, which is called Ask Joe and Jeff. That's me. I'm Jeff. Thank you. Jeff. He's Joe. They love that.
Yeah.
Fire. Loved you. Joe, loved you. Anyways, we're going to get right into it here. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We get into this segment each and every week. Ask Joe and Jeff, and we answer your questions when you ask us stuff. Oh, excuse me, I just burped from that White Claw. Yes, I'm drinking White Claw. Big deal, whatever. Okay, here we go. Ask Joe, who picks your wardrobe?
I do.
I mean,
I pick my own wardrobe. I'm a 34-year-old man.
Yeah, he's a grown-ass man with grown-ass man money because he's got a job. He has a wife. And who picks my I'm just dropped an F-bomb. But you know who picks my clothes?
Who?
Alicia, my fiance. She's very
You picks your clothes?
Well, not for the show or anything like that, but she's very, very subtle about, do you still wear this? I don't think you should. And then it's gone. Like it's gone.
You get rid of it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Listen, I still have band t-shirts from when I was in high school.
See, that's a style, man. You and I lived the band life, right? We played out, we gigged out, we went on tour. I love it. That's how I still dress, by the way. I hide stuff from Alicia. That is not true. I don't hide anything from her. Moving on. D&T, Comics and Collectibles. Ask Joe, CBC, can you please say it? It's Brittany, bitch, one more time. Well, hold on. Oh, Joe. Hold on.
It's Brittany, bitch.
That was marvelous. Well done. All right, let's bring the Honorable De La Torre in, but he's just Dan for this segment. He just wants to be called Dan. Dan, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. And before I ask the question, I want to throw out an announcement here. You guys mentioned San Diego Comic-Con. I had the honor to be asked to be on one of the panels at San Diego Comic-Con this year. I'm on a number of shows, and so I'll be there representing everybody. I consider myself the ambassador of the YouTube comic community, so I'll be mentioning you guys every other show I'm on because I love everybody here that I'm on with. So anyway, that's a huge honor.
That really
I'm not
is.
sure what we're talking about. Yeah.
Hey, congratulations on that. That's a big deal.
Dan, we're going to have to talk specifics about this, but in my contract specifically, and Jeff probably isn't keen on this because I had it kind of written in, amended. Anytime that this channel is talked about on a panel at a Comic-Con specifically, you must refer to the channel as Comic Book Canon starring 360 Comics. And that's I'm sorry, that's how it has to be done every time you mention Comic Book Canon. And you also are not allowed to mention Jeff at all.
Oh, that's funny because my contract supersedes yours in a way where if you're on a panel talking about Comic Book Canon, you have to bring.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Being a judge and a lawyer, I'm going to look at both your contracts, and I'll make a decision how I'm going to handle this. So I appreciate it. We'll talk about that. I just thought they were super cool. So anyway, I'll be there. July 26th is the day I'm going to be speaking. So
congratulations.
So my question for the day is, as my wife and I are moving next week, so I won't be on for another week or two, guys. So one of the things I'm always terrified about, I have such a deep love and passion for my comic books, and I'm terrified if anything goes wrong with them. I'm always checking the weather and all that, hot summer days, because I'm upstairs, and it'll be an upstairs place that we're at in a week. And also you check the humidity, every aspect about it. So, and you've got everything in, like I just picked this up here. Beautiful copy, by the way. At ASM 45, I've got it in the 2 mil Mylar, and I got of course the bags and boards, and even this question goes for the slabs themselves because I just picked this up too. Even though it's protected in the slab, it's not invincible. So the question is, how do you protect your books, Joe, regarding temperature, air conditioning? Not too much heat in the wintertime when it's cold as hell, because I don't deal with winters like you guys do. I don't have snow or anything. So
yeah,
can you give me just a general overview of how you protect your comics and how you should store them? Almost like a cigar aficionados have a humidor, for certain temperatures and all that, moisture. What's your overall view with this?
So I keep my house temperature pretty regulated. I don't do well when it's hot out. So my house on the hottest days is set at 68 degrees. Typically I keep it at 67, 66. And during the winter, I usually keep it around like 63, 64. So it's always kind of in that room temperature in the 60s. So I really don't have to worry about temperature too much. One thing you have to watch out about, I have central air. So I have vents. Don't put a box of comics, especially a box of slabs, near a vent, because when the hot air is coming out, it's going to heat that slab up. We've seen videos recently of slabs getting heated up and the glue coming apart, the slab opening up. You obviously have issues with, degrading the paper when it's heated up, and it often causes discoloration. And even so, the same thing with the cold. You don't want things to get extremely cold. So when the air conditioning is going, you don't want to be there near that vent. So watch where you place your comics in your room. I know in the room next door to this, there's it's a kind of my storage room, and the vent, there's just nothing around the vent. There's just no boxes there. Maybe I'll put like supplies or something that aren't going to be harmed. As far as like dollar bin stuff, really cheap stuff, I do keep that in my garage, which it's not obviously not like regulated like the house is. It doesn't ever get like super cold or super hot because it's under my bedroom of my house. So it generally stays around the same temperature as the house, but it does, obviously go up and down. But I don't put anything out there other than dollar bin books. I'm not putting out like Silver Age. I'm not putting out Big Keys or anything like that because temperature, humidity, all that stuff is not great for comics. Now, I also do have a storage unit, which I did get a temperature and humidity regulated unit. So it's an indoor unit, and that's all taken care of for me. And the last thing I want to say is something that's really good. I wish I had them on hand right here, but you often see those little packets of silica gel. They come in, often with in a shoebox with a new pair of sneakers. shipped with things. You can even find them, in food sometimes. But those little packets are great. They do a great job at absorbing moisture. So if you do have comics somewhere that are, is a little bit more moist than you would want it, it's a great idea to put, just a packet of those silica gel in, in the long box, just on the side of the long box, or, I do it. I am a big Magic the Gathering player too, and it's great with Magic the Gathering cards to keep them from curling, because they'll often curl if they're in heat or humidity. So just be careful where you're putting them. You don't want to put them near a drafty part of your house. You don't want to put them near a vent, and make sure that humidity isn't too bad.
Well, let me follow up, because you got, again, the
Hold
slab.
on real quick, Dan, because
yes,
going along with what everything with what Joe said, there's this thing called Air Things, right? They are amazing.
What is it?
They measure the air in terms of humidity, in terms of carbon dioxide, anything you can think of, and it goes straight to your phone and warns you on your settings that, hey, it's a little too hot. The temperature is a little too hot here. The humidity is a little too high here. So if you want, this is the one that encompasses everything. It's in my basement. I wanted it to, go with mold and all of that stuff. But
Sure.
There are smaller ones that probably can regulate what you need to know about comic books. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to tell you how to lower your humidity other than a dehumidifier or things like that. But this will tell you where your space is in terms of those that environment.
Yeah. And Dan, before we go back to you, I just want to say something regarding what Tishu said. Air your books out occasionally. That's always a good idea. Paper, as it degrades over time, releases a gas, and that gas, if kept in the comic book bag with your comic, will deteriorate the paper more and more rapidly over time. You actually can buy, I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, chamber paper. And what that is it's a piece of paper that will actually absorb those gases. And if you ever cracked a book out of a CGC slab, they put a piece of chamber paper in the comic book to absorb that gas, while it's in there graded. So you can just buy chamber paper and put it in your older or your more expensive books to protect them. But Dan, go ahead.
Well, the reason why is, since I restarted my collection about 10 or 11 years ago, I've got $20,000-$30,000 into this whole thing. That's not a small chunk of change.
Yeah, what's your address again?
What's that?
What's your address again? You got a new one.
I'm in Sing Sing. That's Sing Sing. Yeah, you'll find me that way. Anyway, even little things like with the Mylar here, everyone puts a little blue tape and stuff on here, but you can see a little air. Maybe it's so that it's a good thing for air to get in and get out. Because my comics have been in this room for about 8 years, and so you come in here. It's like being in a humidor. You smell the cigar aroma. Mm-hmm. You smell the silver and Bronze Age degassing here. It's kind of a great room to be in. But again, I'm just fearful because you've got so much money into these things. I don't want to sound like I'm nitpicking, but I want to make certain that I've got doing everything I possibly can to preserve these as long as possible.
Sure.
Now, does that, by the way, that degrading? Oh, so that's why they put that thing in the page on the CGC slab to absorb all that stuff. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's plenty of ways to there's plenty of devices and things like that. What Jeff said. About that thingy that he has. That
I love it. It's called Air Things. I love it. Again, you get the app on your phone. It'll notify you immediately when
fancy, dude.
I'm high tech. You deal with it. You know what I mean? You've known this about me. But yeah, it's totally worth. I think it's worth the investment in terms of health and safety, and also monitoring your comic book room, right? So
yes,
sure. I think Air Things is one company. Joe's right. There are a few other ones out there. So, all right. Well, we're gonna move on from that question and move on to the next question. Everybody, please continue to put your questions in the chat for Ask Joe. Jeff. The Honorable De La Torre will be back, not Dan. The Honorable De La Torre.
You trying to say I'm dishonorable? Is that what?
Anyways.
You're just kicking people today, dude.
We'll let you. Here we go. Josh, honestly, man, it is not going well between the two of us. It really isn't, and it really concerns me.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh my God, product placement, dude. Come on.
Yeah, you would love if we were freaking sponsored by White Claw. Just admit it. Not to say this is again. I've never bought a 6-pack of White Claw, but I just did tonight for the first time. Anyways, moving on. Who do questions? The next question is from Brian Klotz. Ask Joe and Jeff. What's your monthly budget for comic collecting?
I don't have a monthly budget for comic book collecting because I don't specifically look to like fill runs. I really just buy things as they come up for my personal collection. Now, I buy a ton of comic books every month.
That's a fact.
I buy collections. I buy books online. I go to conventions. I go to flea markets. I go to yard sales. I don't really buy stuff for. I don't ever buy comics with money that isn't from selling comics. Now that's just personally me. That's a pretty rare situation. Like I explained, recently, most people that, even people that sell comics, it's not like you're, doing that like as a full-time job or anything like that. And I don't do it as a full-time job, but I do it 30 to 40 hours a week. So it might as well be.
This dude busts his ass like buying collections and selling. Like it's incredible what you do, Joe. And I've applauded you for it many times because he loves comics. But anyways.
Yeah. So I don't have a budget. It is very important to have a budget if you are in a situation where you need to have a budget. But in my situation, I'm just taking money from selling comic books and using that money to buy comics. So really, I guess you could say my budget is how much I've sold minus how much I've needed to use the money that I've sold to buy other collections. And then that's what's left over to buy for my personal collection. And in fact, there's a personal collection book today that I bought literally earlier today that I'll be showing off in the fresh from the comic shop that cost quite a pretty penny. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah. I was going to say more, but I'm not going to. All right. For me as well, I'm the same with Joe. Like I'm not a seller, but I don't have a monthly budget at all. I buy the books that I read that come out. And here and there, I'll get some collectibles that like mean something to me. Sure. What I do is, and I enjoy doing this, is selling. So I have a small seller on Mercari, and that money goes into a checking account that is strictly for comic books, and also actually putting money back into the house because Alicia and I are doing a lot in there. So I don't have a monthly. Again, any amount of money I spend is from that checking account, and I try and keep it to a minimum as well.
Yeah, and I should say this, being that I work in personal finance, I'm a financial advisor professionally, it is important to have a budget. It is very important. Yeah, I'm in a very weird situation where I don't really have a budget because I just use money from selling comics. Most people are not in that situation, and you should budget based upon, your discretionary funds. It's part of your discretionary funds for the month. You make X, you need to spend Y in order to survive and, squirrel away some money for the future and, put money towards retirement, pay your bills, all that stuff. And then you're left with Z afterwards. That Z is your discretionary money. And Z could all, be 100% comic book money, or 1/2 Z could be comic book money. We're going into some algebra right here.
Yeah, XYZ. Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's different for everybody, I'm sure. You would ask everybody, the 23 million people watching, they would all have a different answer.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's a good question. But again, don't spend more than you can afford. That's our advice to you. Real quick, though, I do want to say hello to Goonish Lurker and let you know you are up to bat on the Comic Book Cannon Popcorn. We're going to send you a message after the show. Very excited to see what you're going to give us for next week's show. All right, moving on. I like this question here, Joseph. I do like this question here. Where are we? Actually, no, we're going to start with this one. Ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff, who insults my ties as well. What is your advice when it comes to buying comics online like eBay or auction sites?
I guess the best piece of advice is know what the fees are. You know, with eBay, when you're buying on eBay, it's really just the price you're going to pay, the shipping, and the tax. Always remember that there's that tax on there. So if you put in your max bid of $180, you're going to be more like paying 190 something plus the, it's probably $9 shipping or whatever. You're probably going to pay over $200. With online auctions, there's often a buyer's premium. That is an additional percentage, and I've seen them up to 30% before. Jeez. A lot of places online now are at least 15 or 20%. A lot of them are going 25 and 30%. So you got to be careful, because if you buy a book for $300 with a 25% buyer's premium, you're not paying $300. You're paying $375. Plus, you're also paying tax on that. And there could be a shipping fee as well if it's not a local place. So you just know what you're getting into, kind of have it mathed out and be like, okay, this book, I would spend $200 on it. So I can only bid up to $165 so that everything is covered. I could get this for $200 at my LCS, but if I want to try to get it a little bit cheaper, I'll go $165. I'll end up paying around $190, and I'll get it a little bit cheaper than my LCS. That can be the biggest thing about buying online is any sort of hidden fees, and not that they're really that hidden. You just have to know what the buyer premium is, if there is one.
I don't buy much online. I do like when place like Mercari or even eBay sometimes offers a coupon, and then I'll just jump in on that. Mercari, though, it's a 2% buyer's fee. There's no seller's fees on Mercari anymore, so they charge 2% buyer's fee. So going to what Joe said, that's nothing compared to 25%. But yeah. It's still a little extra money when you think about it. You got tax, shipping, and then a 2% fee. So just be aware of everything that goes into buying online. So but then there's Craigslist too, where you can totally get screwed over.
Yeah You just know what you're doing. Obviously, in the collectibles industry, cash is king. Going to shows, going to flea markets, going to yard sales, whatever it may be, offering cash up can be a way to get things for the best price.
Good question, Joshua. I love you, man. I do. I'm sorry for making fun of your tie. I'm just jealous because I like that color, and I don't have it in my collection. Ask Joe, how much is too much? How many copies of a single book is unhealthy? What's your most quantified book? I'm gonna start with this answer.
Go for it.
Ask Nori Jordan.
How much is too much? All right, so it really depends. If you're buying a book, like Nori Jordan is buying Thunderbolts 1s because Nori Jordan loves the Thunderbolts. That is, if you're buying, for yourself, if you're buying to own copies of a book, you want to fill up a short box, you want to fill up a long box, whatever it may be, with a book that you love, go for it. It's the whole collect what you like thing. Keep in mind, though, if you are looking to at some point sell, it is a lot harder to get full value selling 50, 100, multiple 100 copies of a book, or even 10 copies of a book, than it is to sell 1 or 2 copies of that book. It's easy to find 1 buyer, 2 buyers usually, especially if it's a key issue. It is not so easy to find 50, 100 buyers. I'll put this into perspective. Dazzler 1 has been a pretty hot book recently, right? Well, I bought a collection last year that had 400 copies of Dazzler 1. A lot of them were water damaged, and I did throw them out. Let's say I have 300 afterwards. It probably was really more than 300, but let's just say it was 300. I have sold a ton of them off at $10 for the high grade ones and $5 for the ones that are also pretty high grade. They were like really VF and near mint, all of them, other than the ones that got damaged and thrown out. I still have a ton left. Even a hot book like that at $10, which is, I've seen people try to sell them for $30, $25 on live sales and stuff. I'm selling near mint ones for $10. That is not a high price at all for this book. And I still have hundreds of, I probably have at least 200 of them still. So it is not super easy to sell off large quantities of things. So be careful with that if that's something that you're looking to do.
Also, you brought that point up, like you bought it over a year ago when this book wasn't what it is now in terms of being attached to a global superstar, right?
Yeah, I bought it and immediately started selling them for $10 because that was kind of the going rate. Now, when the Taylor Swift rumors started, certainly the pace of them selling picked up, but I'm still not through all of them. So yeah,
I think it's a bad idea to buy hundreds and hundreds of copies. We had an audience member a couple years ago. Do you remember what was the it was Spider-Man 50? It's a beautiful cover.
Spider-Man 50?
Black and white. It's during the Gleason run. I don't think it was Gleason though.
Oh yeah, the Last Remains, whatever.
But you know what I'm talking about. It looks like a spider made the web, and it's a profile of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's the Gleason webhead cover.
It's Gleason?
It is Gleason.
Okay. Anyways,
Patrick
that's a hot book. It actually still gets a premium price for that book.
Yeah.
Issue 2 or the second print came out. This guy went nuts. He's like, I'm all in. I'm buying 100 copies of this.
Yep.
How much did that go for after once it was out in the market? Not much at all.
I sell the second and third print for cover price, and they don't always sell at $5 cover price.
So be careful. Again, it's not necessarily a good idea to get hundreds of issues or hundreds of copies. Moving on here, we have a serious question from Danny of D&T Comics and Collectibles. His fiance Tessa as well as the T. Ask Joe CBC. Serious question this time. What is the best way to start selling comic books?
Man, that's a tough one. How I started selling comic books, I did a couple of flea markets around here just to kind of get used to setting up a table and displaying the books and having the prices and everything like that. And then I started doing small shows. Now that's as far as the in-person stuff. On Instagram, I just started doing claim sales one day. I actually shout out to my buddy Brady, who now he's Dr. Brady. He's a doctor at this point. This was a couple years ago when he was in school in this area, and we got to be friends through comics and stuff. And he was like, "Yo, you should do one of those claim sales. I see people do them on Instagram, blah, blah, Comic Tom, Golden Age Guru are doing them, whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I should try one out." And he came over one night. We did one together. That was the first one I ever did. That was October of 2021. So less than 3 years ago was my first claim sale. It is slow to start. Be aware of that. Be aware that you're also going to have to give some deals when you're starting off in order to get people to come back. It's a grind. It's building up just like you're building up anything. You're building up a following on YouTube. You're building up a business, outside of the comic book world. It's all going to be grind. So you're going to start off, you're going to be happy when you make $50 at a claim sale. At least you should be. Pat yourself on the back. You just sold $50 worth of comics. Awesome. And some weeks it's going to be less, and some weeks it's going to be way more, and it's going to go up and down and up and down. And if you're trending in the right direction, you end up selling more and more. Now I'm doing multiple claim sales a week, every single week. And on top of that, I'm doing 10 or 12 conventions a year too. It's all about just building up not just your inventory that you have to sell, but also building up return customers. The cool thing about this is like a lot of people that buy from me, I would consider them friends, because there are a lot of the people are people that I talk to on a regular basis. Our own correspondent, Josh, I met him because he started buying in my claim sales, and he was like, "Oh, I'm down in Delaware." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm in Philly. We'll meet up sometime." And we've gotten to know each other, and we're friends now. We hang out outside of, outside of comic books and stuff like that. So it's the cool thing about this community is you build the community you raise up the community around you, and you kind of build that and stuff, and it's good for the overall community as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Again, anything you do though, you got to jump in and do it. You know what I mean? Joe did that. He learned a lot. You're gonna learn a lot. You got to stick with it if you really want, if it's something you want, because it's not something that's just gonna boom happen automatically. So keep that in mind, for sure. Moving on, the immortal Scruffy. Ask Joe and Jeff, what is your least favorite Marvel movie and DC movie?
All right, so this is an easy one for me. My least favorite DC movie is Catwoman. That movie is so bad, so freaking bad, just unwatchable. My least favorite Marvel movie, if we're talking MCU, it's definitely Thor: Dark World. That is definitely my least favorite MCU movie. There are some real stinkers outside of that, like the Fantastic Four, the most recent Fantastic Four movie. I think Thor: Dark World might be worse than that, though. Thor: Dark World is really bad.
I don't. Okay, I haven't seen the Fantastic Four. DC, I'm going to say Batman and Robin. That is straight up trash.
That's not worse than Catwoman, though.
Garbage. Batman and Robin was garbage. Schumacher just
freeze.
He took it way too far, man.
Dude, chill.
No, God, no. God, no. And then I guess I went into the theater expecting it to be serious. You know what I mean? It was just. And then for Marvel, it's probably Daredevil for me. That was bad. I'm not talking the series.
No.
Ben Affleck.
So you're putting Daredevil worse than Elektra?
I didn't see Elektra. I didn't see the most recent Fantastic Four film.
Okay, so you're only including.
I can only go by what I've seen.
You only go by what you've seen. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So it's bad. Maybe I will watch Elektra. I think it's on Disney Plus. So
what about Punisher Warzone? That was a pretty bad one.
Oh, that was really bad. It was really bad, actually. You're right. All right. Good question, though. Moving on. We have some more questions to get to. A few more questions. Actually, one more question. I think it's one more. From our good friend and sponsor of Fresh from the Comic Shop, Tony Trombetta from EGS. Ask Joe, do you have any interest in one day having your own brick and mortar comic book shop store?
I don't think so. I am big on stability. And I don't really see, I mean, it's not even I don't see. Flat out, working in collectibles for a full-time job is not stable. It is not stable. You're going to have some great months, some great years. Think about comic shops that were just absolutely thriving during, 2021. And, even 2020, even with the shutdowns and stuff, a lot of stores were thriving because, as soon as things were opened back up, people flooded in and were buying comics again. And 2019, people being excited about Avengers Endgame and stuff like that. But think about the years since. Think about your inventory shrinking in value. We've seen comic book prices fall over the last few years. It is not a stable industry whatsoever. I am big on, having stability as far as, my financial situation. I've got a good job. I've got a 401k. I've got healthcare benefits. I personally do not want to leave that. And I will keep comic books as the side thing and keep it as fun as possible. And that's cool with me. You got to remember that even if you love something, love it, and you try to turn it into work, it's going to be work. It's going to be work no matter what. Jeff and I always talk about, we connect on both, being musicians, being in a bunch of bands. People always were asking me like, oh, are you going to go to college for that? Are you going to, do more with music? And I was always like, no, I don't want that to be work. I want that to be fun. I never even thought about, doing anything music related for college because I always wanted that to be a fun hobby. And it's the same with comics. Yeah, I put in a crap ton of work, 30, 40 hours a week, usually, on comics, but it's still the side thing for me. I'm not dependent on it. If I stopped selling comics tomorrow, I'd be okay with, my regular job and everything. So I don't see myself opening up a brick and mortar anytime soon. Could that change? Absolutely. anything could happen, but I don't see it happening.
I do have a dream of having, and again, it's not take away all of the logistics, all of the hurdles, all of the things that suck about running a business, having an LLC, those types of things. I would love to have a brick and mortar of a comic book shop with a studio in it to do content as well.
Sure.
That's what I do, and that would be so much fun to me. But is the fantasy as good as the reality? You know what I mean? So that's something you got to factor in. And Tony, as a startup, as a a young up and coming company, it's not easy. Better than anybody watching right now, the 21 million people watching, what it takes to start your business, and it's not easy. So that's a kudos to you, again, because you're doing an incredible job. But I think you should understand, maybe that's why you asked the question, what it takes, and it's not easy. All right, we do have one more question that I neglected to get to. Thank you, Joshua, aka the Adam Schefter of Comic Book Canon. Dr. Plagueis asked J, and Jay. Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh. What advice would you have for someone interested in creating a comic-related YouTube channel?
I just do want to go back to one thing real quick before I touch on this. And that is, if I do very well in my life financially, and I'm able to take a semi-early retirement, say mid to late 50s, that's the dream, taking that early retirement, not having to work into your 60s, then in that case, I would think about opening up a brick and mortar comic book store. And I would love to have it as a comic book store and cafe, because I love coffee.
Great
love
idea.
Breakfast food, that kind of stuff. There actually was one in the Philadelphia area. Unfortunately, it did close down. It was one of the casualties of the pandemic and the instability afterwards. So I would love to do that someday. That would obviously not be very, it wouldn't be an attempt to be like super lucrative, but it would be a situation where, hey, I did well, I get to retire early. Let's do this as my retirement hobby, kind of running a business. But anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on to Dr.
Bring
Plagueis.
Josh in for this as well. The Adam Schefter of Comic Book Canon,
Yeah,
who has
his
own YouTube channel, which y'all should be following down below. He better get at least 19 million followers tonight.
That's 533 million followers, Jeff.
No, I'm saying you better get 19 million more is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. We'll see.
Well, anyways.
Before we do this, I think you need to apologize to my tie, Jeff.
Right now, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make myself full screen.
Listen.
I apologize to Josh's tie for saying I don't like you.
What's that?
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Oh, look at that. Nice. Mr. Chai said thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Really weird.
What have we devolved into?
Let's get to Dr. Plagueis's question. I will start here, actually, and it's as simple as this. Find your voice. Find out what you want to talk about, who you are, and how you want to present yourself. Don't go in there thinking, I'll be an influencer right off the bat, bro. I'm gonna be awesome. I know comic book. No, just find your voice, have fun doing it. That's what it comes down to.
There you go. That's definitely good advice. I'll give a second piece of advice, and that is consistency. Putting out, if you're doing full-length YouTube videos, like I formerly did, and I don't really do anymore, if you can put out 2-3 videos a week, if you can put out 1 video a week, whatever it is, as long as it is a consistent thing, don't skip leg day, essentially. Make sure you you do it. Yeah. Right now I do shorts, and I do a short almost every single day. Every once in a while I'll take a day or two off here and there, but almost every single day I'm putting out some sort of short form content. That keeps the ball rolling. It's all about the momentum when it comes to, social media and stuff. And obviously, it doesn't all need to be a masterpiece as far as, some in-depth video with charts and graphs and overlays and stuff like that. It can be as simple as like, hey, I went to my local comic shop. Here's some books I found. Like, oh, I got
you've done this, Dr. Plagueis. You've done stuff like this and sent it into the canon with on the hunt. So you do have chops. You do have something there.
Yeah. Josh. So, Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, I'm the youngest. Well, I've been in it for a year and a half, but I just do it for fun, man. Like, just have fun with it. Know that there's a few different ways, like whether you want to focus on just doing haul videos. If you want to talk about comic news, we have people that report on speculation and all that stuff, top 10 books. But I would ultimately say, with your On the Hunt segment that you do on Instagram, which is phenomenal. You just uploaded, by the way, go check out his short right now, or his video was really good. Add that into a 15-20 minute video where you sit down kind of like how I do, like how Joe used to, and show off your hauls. And I mean, like that's the whole point of my show, is just to go out on the hunt, find some, if I can find a Hawk 181 one day in a overflooded basement, maybe, I don't know, we'll see, but just have fun with it. If you're really thinking about doing it, I mean, it's a great community, and you'll meet, I have people come up to me now, like before I used to go up to Joe and be all excited to meet him and other YouTubers. Now I have people coming up to me saying, hey, are you Josh? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know you, but who are you? And they're like, oh, we watched your show, you're great. And it's like such a great feeling, man. Like, and people say to me all the time, hey, keep up the good work. I really love your channel. You give me good info, and I like hearing the history of the comics you're talking. And it's just like, to me, like, that makes my life so much better, like knowing that I'm having a positive impact on people. So I say go for it.
He follows up here too. My goal would be to evolve the reels into something longer format, a little more in depth. And that's fine. Yeah. But here's the deal. Don't overthink it. Just start doing it, and you're going to figure it out. Just like when Joe was answering the question about, like, how do you get into selling comics?
I used to do this. I was trying to do 3 videos a week when I first started. I don't have the money for that. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why I stopped. I do 1 main video a week. Now it comes out Wednesday or Thursday, and it'll be whether I picked up books from Joe or somebody online, or I went to my local shop or comic hunting. And you know what? I do that 1 video, it drops, and then I'll make shorts out of my long-term video, and it reels people in, and, just do it like that. Because if you do 3 or 4 videos a week, and I mean, I know people can, and if you got the money, go for it. But like, I have a full-time job as well. And to edit, you got to go out, find the books, you got to sit down, you got to shoot a 30-40 minute video sometimes, and you got to edit everything. You got to make sure everything uploads right. It's a lot of time involved into doing it. So
for sure, it really is. But just get at it. Just do it. You have talent for it.
Yeah, man.
You've proven that.
It's always going to be something that's going to be evolving and changing. And like Jeff said, just do it. And then if something's working, keep doing that. If something's not working, change it up. But I think kind of the 3 things we said, Josh said, like, kind of do something interesting. Those On the Hunt videos are great. I said consistency. Make sure you're putting out, at least 1 or 2 videos a week, whatever you decide. And, whatever Jeff's thing was that I forget. He said it probably wasn't important because Jeff said it.
No, just find your voice. Be you.
Find your voice. That was it. It was important. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I do want to make. What do you mean? I'm definitely on for being the pot. You have no choice. You are. You're next. You know what I mean? Like, so get to it. We'll send you instructions on the through the Instagram's DMs, and we can't wait. All right, Joshua, maybe we'll see you again a little bit later. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's throwing his arms up in the air right now. All right, right there. That ends this segment that we call Ask Joe and Jeff.
Jeff.
That's good, man. You should be like the movie voice guy. Real quick, let's just say hello to Dan. who's not the Honorable De La Judge.
Once again, I'm not honorable, huh? Wow.
No, but I'm just saying hi because we're going to get into a little segment soon that we're going to need your help with. And actually, you're obligated because we pay you. I think you know what we're talking about.
If you want to call that paper. Oh, yeah, sure. Right.
Here we go again. Joe, I mean, that's seriously like 65% of the marketing, our marketing budget is what we put towards him, thinking it would be invaluable to get the services of this judge.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Unbelievable. These guys, like, seriously, where do we find these people?
Here.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we found them all here. Let's be real.
You are right. But we do a segment each and every week. It's so much fun. We have a sponsor. We give away prizes. And it's called...
This segment brought to you by EGS Grading Services and Spider Dude Comics. It's the greatest segment in all the history of all the YouTube channels, not even just the comic book ones, but all of them. It is called for Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Fly from the Press and Salon. That's right. We ask you each and every week to send in your fresh gets, and you never disappoint. It's not only invaluable to share your fresh gets with the community, but you can also win a wonderful prize from our partners, Spider Dude Comics and EGS. That's right. You can get a slabbed EGS comic book, courtesy of those two wonderful companies, Spider Dude and EGS, just by sharing your book, just by submitting. We're going to show it off to the community, and you can win a wonderful, wonderful book each and every month. On top of that, we have our yearly Big Bang prize. Why did I just say Big Bang? I don't know, but it just kind of feels like it makes sense because this month is, I mean, the main book of the month is absolute fire. It is The Incredible Hulk #6, Mr. Garson variant. It's just a gorgeous. It reminds me of like an issue of Time. You know what I mean?
It does. It does. It's got that mosaic.
Love it.
Love it. So cool. So cool. Shout out to Spider Dude Comics and, of course, EGS for that beautiful custom label matching the cover.
That's what you get with EGS. And let's just talk more about EGS because if you use the code Canon5, you get 5% off your order. Again, the amazing thing about EGS, they are part of the community. Tony Trombetta and team does a fantastic job. I'm going to burp, Joe. Sorry, Tony. This is
the White Claw, bro.
Talking about your company right here. Optional custom labels, free graders notes, and fast turnaround times. EGScomicsgrading.com. Please follow them down below. Links are down below for all of that. So, what we ask of you all is to submit your fresh gets each and every week. Fresh gets can be 2 days old. They can be 30 years old, as long as they're fresh in your comic collection this week. We want to see them. And we have some criteria we picked to move on to the semifinals. There are 3 pieces of criteria, Joseph. Before we get into it, which ones are you going to take? We should probably.
Oh, I'll do the first and last again. That was fun. I've been enjoying this.
Okay, fantastic.
Doing a spotlight for a little bit here, but
let's do it. No. Trust me. I have an idea of what I was going to do, but I don't need to do it. So we're going to start off with presentation.
Yeah, presentation. We want to see something aesthetically pleasing, or as Jeff likes to put it, a well-composed shot. We want to look at it and just kind of be like, wow, that looks cool. That's neat. That should be hanging in a museum somewhere. Make sure that it's not just, a comic book sitting in your dirty bathtub or on top of, sheets from the 1970s that are at your grandma's house. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. We don't want to just see some just thrown together stuff. We want to see you put together a picture that not only represents that book, but also represents you and your artistic vision for that book. We need some cool lighting. Maybe we need some. Oh, look at that! You were ready, man. You were ready. Maybe like a cool prop or two. That would make it like a little bit more interesting. No, not a White Claw. Put that down, Jeff. You know what? Hold on a second. Jeff's off for a minute. He's in timeout. But yeah, put something together really cool. Depth of field, as Jeff loves to say. He uses all the technical terms and stuff. Speaking of, let's bring him back. And I'm in his spot now. We got to do a little switcheroo right there. And over to Jeff now to talk about the second piece of criteria, which is...
That's right. Make it unique. could be a running man trying to, or an artist that's drawing a picture, but you ask them to do the running, just start running and just run and see what it looks like. And boom, nobody's ever done that before. I don't think that is unique right there. You could have a unicorn horn sticking out of the cover. That's unique as well. Unique doesn't mean $30,000, but unique can mean something we haven't seen before. And something is like, wow, that's really unique.
Unique.
You know what I mean?
Unique New York.
Unique New York. I will punch you in the kidney. Joe, give us our third piece of criteria. The third criteria we go by.
Third criteria, and this is a big one. We want this to tug at our heartstrings. We want to hear the story behind this book, what this book means to you, what you had to go through to get this book, whatever it may be. Maybe. Once upon a time, you were sitting there as a kid reading this beautiful comic book. You were outside having a little picnic with your family. Bright, sunny spring day in Massachusetts. The chill air across the field.
This is getting good.
Snacking on some peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Mom removed the crust, and Dad made sure to get the chunky peanut butter. So it was the good stuff that you liked.
Time out.
What?
Chunky peanut butter?
Dude, chunky peanut butter is the nut. Absolutely. It's so good. Back to my story. So you're sitting there reading your comic book, and the picnic basket comes out, opens up, and you said, you know what? I don't want it. This book is too much to me. I don't want to get this peanut buttery or jelly-y or bready.
Makes sense. Keep going.
So you put the comic book down on the ground. You eat your sandwich, and guess what happened? While you were eating your sandwich, you didn't notice it, but that sandwich and all that other food had attracted some ants. Those ants, they weren't very smart ants, and they mistook your comic book for some food.
Oh, no.
Using their incredible ant strength, which, as we know, is like 300 times a human strength. They, as a team, picked up your comic book. They brought it back to the ant hole, and they were able to roll it up, like kind of when you roll up a comic book and put it in your pocket. And they were able to get it into the ant hole. They took it in there, and they ended up worshiping that book. And that book, actually, from when you were a child, was Iron Man number 282, the first appearance of the War Machine armor, although War Machine does not wear it in that issue. Tony Stark does, but that's not important because that's the chase book, the money book, the book that the market has decided is the War Machine book. And you don't have that book anymore because some ants stole it. And you know what? Later on in life, after many years of torturing ants with a magnifying glass in the sun and trying to get back what you once lost, you decided enough is enough. I've got adult money. I can do adult things with adult money, and that's going to be buying a comic book. So you go off to a convention. You're looking around, and you finally find one. You not only find that book that you've longed for those decades, or a couple decades. Yeah, I guess that book's old enough, 1990.
Definitely decades. Yeah.
We'll say decades. You find a newsstand copy, and it's a sharp one, a 9.8 maybe. And you buy that book. You send it off to EGS, product placement, and you get it graded with a nice custom label with the pink up there, just matching that pink War Machine trade dress. And you get the 9.8 on that newsy copy, and that means the world to you because some ants once stole that book from you when you were a child. I have gone on way too long with this, but that is a great story that tugs at our heartstrings. Let's get into Fresh from the Comics.
Yeah, that's the thing. Pull at our heartstrings right there. It's all about the story. All right, here we go. We have some announcements to make concerning Fresh from the Comic Shop. We have our semifinals, and it's Raising Elm over C to the G, 59% to 41%. Justin, a.k.a. Raising Elm, is moving on to the finals to potentially win this wonderful Hulk number 6 book that we just showed. And now, there it is right there. And then let's be honest. We got Kaboom Comics. Kaboom! I think Kaboom still is in the chat. Waiting to see who Kaboom is going to battle against and go, kaboom! Right? Kaboom, Joe. Kaboom. All right, moving on. I'm getting a
Kaboom.
little sloppy here. Getting a little sloppy.
Kaboom.
We have a good friend of the show, Dr. Plagueis, first up right here.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I rushed into uploading all of the Fresh from the Comic Shops. Sometimes they don't make it all through. I had an accident, guys. I didn't pee my pants. Somebody swiped my car, and I just need some compassion and understanding here. Also, don't forget to get your Fresh from the Comic Shop t-shirt, right? You can't live without those. Am I right? Come on, guys. The link's down below. Kaboom! There you go. Kaboom. Kaboom Comics is waiting for that semifinalist that they're going to battle against to make it to the finals to potentially to face Justin. All right, moving on. Here we go. Dr. Plagueis. I love this. I love it. But Dr. Plagueis is not eligible, I have to say. This week's Fresh from the Comic Shop, I have this beautiful newsstand copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 319, a book I just cannot pass on when I see it for a good price. Coincidentally, I also picked up the Whiplash figure this week. This pairing of figures with the awesome Tom McFarlane cover also couldn't. I think that's Eric Larson there. No, Tom McFarlane, my bad. Also couldn't have come at a better time as he just announced he will be working with Marvel once again, bringing some of his Marvel works to scale figures, which I will most definitely be dying to get my hands on and eventually showing off here on Fresh from the Comic Shop. Again, this is I love what he's done here with this whole thing. Like, it looks great. I'm even more excited about that announcement with Tom McFarlane. It's actual, figures that are reimagined as these covers. It looks awesome. It got cut from the news. Josh cut it from the news, which is fine. It's his prerogative. But I'm very excited for that. But Dr. Plagueis is not eligible because, just want to remind you all, he is the February winner.
Oh, yeah.
So he cannot win because he's already won this year. Joe, your thoughts on the McFarlane figures?
Very cool, but I think you said it wrong. You said figures. It's actually figgies. That's the colloquial term in this community now.
Are you being serious?
Figgies, yeah, man. Ask Paul Bond. He's always talking about his figgies.
I call them Figgy Newtons. Anyways, moving on. Oh, Joe, why don't you give us your first fresh get of the week? I got nothing this week, people. Nothing. I'm sorry.
First fresh get of the week. I always pick this book up when I find it. This was a book that I owned as a kid. This was one of the first books that I bought off the shelf, which means it probably is from 1995, I would think. Maybe 1994. I'm not sure what the exact year is, but this is a book that I always pick it up, always try to get nice high-grade copies of it. Amazing Spider-Man number 410. This is not only a freaking awesome cover from this time period, but it is also the first time that the Carnage symbiote attaches to Spider-Man. Now, this particular Spider-Man is Ben Reilly Spider-Man. The sensational Spider-Man, if you will. But yeah, this is just such a cool book. Totally like my childhood. I grew up on this era of Spider-Man that, involved the Clone Saga, involved a lot of symbiote stuff, specifically with Carnage. And this was, again, a book that I bought off the shelf as a kid. I did find the copy that I had. I think I threw it in like a dollar bin at one point, and I wish I'd kept it, but it was like cover was like about to fall off. There were rips in it. It was so well read, but always pick this up. Just a book that's special to me. It is like a minor key. It's worth some money, but yeah, such a cool one.
Is that a Bagley cover right there?
It's not. It is. It says Mark and Larry is the I'm not sure who that is. Atomic Paintbrush. It says under that. So
it's a great looking cover.
Very cool cover.
Badly.
Yeah.
By the way, I do want to bring this up. Dr. Plagueis said McFarlane's going to do interiors as well. I'm psyched for this. It looked incredible. From what I saw was the Captain America Spider-Man cover where Captain America's got his shield like this. He's just standing there, and then it's ASM 301 as well. Really cool covers to do some figgies on.
Figgies.
Moving on. We got Nukes Comics. Near and dear to my heart right here. What are you doing to me, Nukes? And you know what? That is not there. So I'm going to pull that up in a hot second. We're going to move on. Raising Elm Comics not eligible. Not eligible as well because Raising Elm in the finals, but this is fun right here. Howdy, comic fam. Thankfully, I picked up 2 copies of the X-Men 97 comic, issue 1, when it came out a few weeks ago. However, this week I came across a little golden book copy of X-Men 97. Our local comic shop has this huge section. Sorry, I didn't bring in the second picture, but he has another picture. For the little readers that may not yet know how to care for a comic book, but they still love the heroes. Eli has quite the collection of golden books at home now, and this book is an awesome addition. We both sat on the couch the other night to read it, and we went back and forth over who the hairy blue one was. I told him that's the Beast. No, Dada, Hulk. Hulk is green and Beast is blue. No, Dada, Hulk. At least he knows who Wolverine is and growls, "Hi, bub." And that's adorable. Adorable. Anyways, if you have little ones, which I know a lot of you do, I highly recommend these little golden books. Be safe this Memorial Day weekend, and much love, comic fan. Yeah, I would get my daughter Ava a lot of those as well. So much fun. She's a little too old for that now at 8 years old. But man, that is adorable. No Hulk. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
You didn't do your first yet, did you?
I did not get any this week.
Oh, this guy's a loser. Wow.
Guess
make
what,
fun
though?
of him. What?
I'm heading to Texas.
Oh, you know what they say about Texas?
It's hot.
Everything's bigger there. That's it. Okay, on to my second fresh get of the week. This right here is Infinity Crusade #1. It's got that nice foil cover that is kind of hard to show on the camera here. But I found this in a dollar bin. You can find this book in a dollar bin. You know, it's worth a couple bucks. But what is nicer about this book is, let's see if you can see it right there. Name of a legendary creator, Al Milgrom, signed this book.
Nice.
And not only did Al Milgrom sign this book, it does come with a certificate of authenticity. And what's pretty cool about the certificate of authenticity, this is from the 90s, and it is from Catch a Star Collectibles, which is a New Jersey-based collectible company that eventually, I don't know if it changed its name or if the CEO started up like a totally different company. But the CEO of this company was Ken Golden, who you may know from Golden Auctions, who was just bought out by eBay. They have their own show on Netflix. Season 1 was last year. Season 2 is coming soon, I believe. And yeah, pretty cool little piece of comic book history. He's got, one of the biggest collectible auction houses in the country now, but he started off doing, COAs and autographs and stuff like that in the 90s. Great book. And like I said, an Al Milgrom signature for just $1.
Is that a Ron Lim cover? I think it is.
I would assume Milgrom. Maybe Milgrom did interiors. Yeah, it is a Ron Lim cover. It's Ron Lim and Al Milgrom.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. That is a beautiful cover. Great signature as well.
Yeah.
Well done indeed. Before we
hold on a second. Just to Paul, that was not in the box that I grabbed from you. That was in the box. That was I got that at the flea market this morning for $1. Yeah,
I was there with him. No, I wasn't. I'm sorry. I cannot testify to that. I would be lying. Before we move on, let's get a hello from our Judge De La Torre. Judge, how are you, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. Court is almost ready in session. I'm ready to go, taking copious notes and earning my keep. Even though some people think I don't.
We're going to move on if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for the respect.
Yep. Good day. All right, moving on. We have Nukes here. I was able to upload this wonderful picture right here that's near and dear to my heart, as you all know why. Fresh from the comic shop, Void Rivals 3, the 4th printing. Derek and Solila have escaped, only to find themselves on a strange vessel. Will they find refuge or rancor? What else? But what else lurks among them? The story gets better each issue. I picked this up from DBS. Good stuff indeed. Everyone have a great CBC Sunday. Enjoy and reflect on this Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to all that paid the ultimate price. Yes, that's what this weekend is about. We're not going to get into it too much, but please support those servicemen and women out there, because it's not the easiest job in the world. So, as well as families too. We're gonna move on to who do we have? Nori Jordan. Do y'all know he loves Thunderbolts?
I've heard that.
We learned a lot about Nori. Here we go. And this is related to Thunderbolts, believe it or not. It was a busy week, but luckily I was able to pick up a book I have wanted for a long time. One of the greatest Thunderbolts was Meteorite, aka Moonstone. This character always gave Zemo a run for his money as top schemer on the team. I've been searching for a high-grade copy of her first appearance for a while, and I couldn't say no when I saw CBCS 9.6 listed at a very cheap price. Moonstone was an original member of the team and a frequent presence in the main story and many storylines. Her character was also the first clue in Hulk 449 that this team may not be all that they seem to be. I mean, that's the cool thing about them. All right. Joseph, actually, you know what? We're going to do this last one right here. This is our last fresh get of the week. And it's our very own Adam Schefter, aka Josh's Comics.
Woo!
Here we go. Oh, wait, time out. We have Kaboom. Sorry, Kaboom is not eligible. Sorry, no. The Kaboom was last week. I'm all over the place. Josh's Comics 01. It was a busy week, but luckily, nope, that's Nori Jordan. Sorry. West Coast Avengers number 56. First cover appearance of Dark Scarlet, Wanda Maximoff in a new costume with evil persona. Scarlet Witch number 1, Adam Hughes variant. First appearance of Darcy Lewis in the mainstream Marvel Comics universe. Previously appeared in adaptations. It's no secret that I love the ladies. Rather, they are good or bad. Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, is definitely one baddie and possibly the strongest female in the Marvel universe. I had the pleasure to pick up this variant and homage cover of Scarlet Witch number 1 from Adam Hughes, which is also the first appearance of another beautiful lady, Darcy Lewis. I can't wait to see Elizabeth Olsen return in the future and keep on slaying in the role. Enjoy this beautiful, and I didn't get the rest of what he said, but that is a great submission. So we're going to go right now.
I just want to say, I fucking love Scarlet Witch. That's good. It's a good post, Josh.
That's a very, very good post. We may have a dilemma on our hands too. Joseph, your third and final fresh get of the week. What do you got?
A book for my PC. Did not expect this. This was not on my bingo card when I woke up this morning, but I went over to Mr. Paul Bond's house today.
Bond.
Drop off.
Paul
Bond. I went over his house today to drop off a book that he actually claimed from me this weekend. It was an Amazing Spider-Man 129. It was the one that I showed last weekend. And I figured, I mentioned last week that I was probably going to keep it. But I figured let's just put it up in the claim sale this weekend. It gets eyes out there and stuff like that. And if it sells, it sells. Little did I know, Mr. Paul Bond's going to come along, and he's going to be the claimer of that book. So I said, okay, I'll drive it over to you. I'll come hang out for a little bit. So I went to his house, and, he paid me for that book. And then I gave some of the money right back to him because I bought this book off of him. Did not expect this, but now I have it. This is my oldest complete and my oldest Batman. My oldest complete Detective Comics and my oldest Detective Comics with Batman in it. I have one that is older, but it is incomplete and it is pre-Batman. But this is Detective Comics 44.
Damn!
1940. This is a handful of issues after Batman issue number 1 came out and introduced, the Joker and stuff like that. 44. So this is probably like one of the first 10 appearances of Robin. Just freaking awesome. We got Bill Finger, co-creator of Batman, as well as Jerry Siegel, co-creator of Superman, doing the writing. We got Jack Leddy and Howard Sherman doing interior art, and the cover is by Bob Kane, or is it really? And Jerry Robinson. So it was probably Jerry Robinson, and maybe Bob Kane drew like The Chimney or something like that. But either way, Jerry Robinson is my favorite Golden Age Batman artist. And look at this thing. Now, it is complete. It is very low grade. It is a 1.0 with brittle pages. So it's kind of the lowest grade possible with being complete and at least semi intact. But hey, it's mine. Very excited to have this in the PC.
Yo, that is a great. Can we see the back of the book too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the kind of Red Ryder BB gun.
Yo, I'll tell you
Shoot
what.
your eye out.
Shoot your eye out, kid. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to say the cliche line. It presents well.
It presents phenomenally. What Paul and I think is that it got the 1.0 because it does have brittle pages, and that brings down the overall quality of the book. Because you look at this book and it's
great.
It looks nicer than 4.0s that I have.
It really looks, it's like, okay. Anyway.
Honestly, that might be a crack press resubmit candidate at some point. Who knows?
That'll be a fun one. Okay. All right, here we go. Not that many submissions this week, but it is the official kickoff to summer with Memorial Day weekend. There's one that just sticks out to me.
Me too. I bet it's the same
Judge.
one.
Yes, sir.
Are you busy doing other cases? Or are you?
No, I'm checking out your work here. Didn't you say you had one from Kaboom Studios?
No.
Yeah, that was from last week.
Okay, fine.
I'm getting a little bit buzzed off of these White Claws. I have to.
All right. So we have 2 that are not available, and so we have 3 to pick from. What do you guys say?
There's one clear-cut win to me, but Judge, needs your kind of unbiased opinion here. This person is now part of the team, and I'm not speaking for Joe because we could have different selections here, but for me, it's a guy by the name of Josh's Comics with this amazing submission. Joe, I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah, listen, I've said this before. When people have, a book, an original cover, and an homage cover, that always does something for me. I love seeing that. Plus this like Dark Wanda background with the whole everything. And man, it's very cool to see these 2 books lined up side by side here. And I'm such a huge Scarlet Witch fan. Definitely my MCU crush. I'm all for this book being the winner for this week.
But Judge, it's as Nuke says, it's a bit complicated here.
No, it's not. Because I looked at the contract while you guys were chatting, and Josh is only a contributor to the show. There's only 2 people on this show who are not qualified for anything, and that's you, and that's you. So Josh is still available.
So what's your ruling then? Because Joe and I are unanimous in looking to move Josh to the finals to go against Kaboom Comics.
He is. If you 2 are in agreement, then it's Josh's Comics next week. That's all there is to it. Case dismissed.
No, can we shake on it?
That was not weird at all. Not weird at all.
Really weird. All right, congratulations, Josh's Comics. You're moving on to the semifinals to go against Kaboom Comics. We will get that up and running this week. It's been a wonderful show. Let's bring Josh on because, again, he is our news correspondent. It's been a wonderful show tonight. All seriousness, thank you to the servicemen and women. We've said that a few times tonight. Thank you to those who have, sacrificed a lot for this country and for us to be able to live the way we do. It's very important to recognize that. With that said, let's move on with the episode. We appreciate you all for following us. Thank you. Like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Again, we made a promise and we kept our promise of talking about Taylor Swift. We did that tonight. Josh, any final words for the episode?
I thought it was a great episode, and thank you, gentlemen, for picking me. I honestly think, every week it's hard. Competition's hard, man. Everybody's stepping it up, and
they really are, actually. They really are.
And honestly, I know he almost always wins, but Raising Elm just sets the bar way too high every episode. So,
hey, the smack talking starts now. Judge De La Torre, please give your obviously making them legal words, but your final words of the night.
Well, again, this is the last time you'll see me in this studio. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Wow, that's
I have
great.
no idea because you moved, Jeff, not that long ago. What an interest!
3 years.
It was took a while to get that thing up and running.
Oh God,
but, yeah. So anyway, I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Love being on this show, and again, I'll see you guys hopefully in 2 to 3 weeks. And again, I'll be at Comic-Con as a guest speaker on a panel on July 26th. So I will be mentioning the canon and other shows that I'm on because I love being on these shows. It's a pleasure and an honor.
That we truly appreciate that, and congratulations on that. Joseph, final words for the episode tonight.
Yeah, it's just always great to be here. I feel like I say this half the time, but we throw the show together last minute. I think Jeff's uploading stuff until 8:01 usually, and definitely Josh coming in and taking on the correspondent role is taking a little bit off our plate. So shout out to him for that. It's that time of the year. At least if you live in the continental United States, it's probably warming up a little bit where you are. And the flea markets, the yard sales, they're going. Get out there, go hunting for some comics, get some fresh air, some exercise, have some fun, and post what you're find. The on the hunt videos, if you still want to submit them. We haven't had one in a little bit, but you're more than welcome to submit an on the hunt video, and we'll gladly show it on the channel. So get out there and get on the hunt.
Get out there just in general. The weather is nice outside. It's like, this is my favorite time of year, summertime. I love it, love it, love it. Appreciate you all again. Like Joe and I say this each and every week, but we truly appreciate you all. It means a lot to be able to do this with you all and getting to know everybody here. So with that said, we're going to see you again next week. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Until then, peace.